By the 1970s, the hagsploitation wave was starting to wind down, but not before a few more strange, unsettling entries made their mark. Today, we're digging up some of the subgenre's final acts, with roles that pushed legendary actresses into territory audiences would never forget. From buried secrets to grotesque experiments, from witchcraft and cult rituals to twisted family dramas, these films show just how far the genre was willing to go before fading into history. Classically trained, two-time Oscar winner, and better known to some of you as Joan Fontaine's older sister, Olivia de Havilland stars in The Screaming Woman, a made-for-TV thriller about isolation, perception, and the danger of not being believed. She plays Laura Wynant, a wealthy woman recently returned home from a sanitarium, where she spent time recovering from an unspecified mental breakdown. She's stable now, or so she claims, but the people around her seem more comfortable keeping her quietly out of the way. While walking the grounds of her estate, Laura hears something buried underground, a woman's voice, faint and panicked.
Oh my God!
She tries to raise the alarm, but no one takes her seriously.
That's enough! Mother, come on!
You can still say the please! No, you can...
She really didn't make much sense, did she?
Her doctors say she's overreacting. Kids run away. Her staff writes it off as nerves. And with every hour that passes, the screaming grows weaker. De Havilland plays it straight, anchoring the story with a brittle dignity that gradually cracks as the isolation sets in. Joseph Cotten appears in a supporting role, but this is Olivia's show, and she carries it without leaning on camp or spectacle. Just a woman who's lost her credibility and may be the only one who knows the truth. The horror comes not from what's buried, but from how easily she's dismissed and how helpless that makes her. By the early 1970s, network TV was churning out thrillers that could get surprisingly dark, and A Taste of Evil is one of the better ones. Produced by Aaron Spelling and premiering on ABC's Movie of the Week on October 12, 1971, it paired Barbara Stanwyck with Barbara Parkins for a twisted story of trauma, paranoia, and family secrets. Parkins plays Susan, a young woman returning home after years in a psychiatric clinic following a childhood assault. Her mother, Miriam, played by Stanwyck, is welcoming but cold, and it doesn't take long before strange events make Susan question her sanity all over again. Add Roddy McDowall as the family doctor and William Wyndham as the new stepfather, and the stage is set for a house full of suspicion and gaslighting. Stanwyck is the one to watch. Her performance is sharp and grows more unsettling as the story turns.
Wasn't me.
You're a liar! You're a liar! Get out! Get out!
The movie is a mix of creepy atmosphere and star power, and the kind of small screen thriller that manages to feel a little bigger than its made-for-TV roots. Part slasher, part gothic melodrama, Blood and Lace is one of the stranger horror films of the early 70s. It opens with a brutal hammer murder, then shifts to the story of a teenage girl sent to an orphanage after her mother's death. But this home is more like a prison, run by a cold, calculating matron played by Gloria Graham. She keeps the kids in line through intimidation, and those who rebel don't stick around for long. The movie piles on lurid shocks and twisted caretaker dynamics, often feeling more like a rough draft for the slasher wave that was about to arrive later in the decade. Graham, once a respected Oscar winner, doesn't hold back. She plays the role with a mean streak, turning every order and threat into something unsettling. Blood and Lace may be cheap and uneven, but it's exactly the kind of movie that shows how Hollywood's older stars were being shoved into roles designed for maximum shock value. And that's the hook. A once-celebrated actress anchoring a movie that weaves between soap opera theatrics and proto-slasher nastiness. If you're looking for something that feels both ahead of its time and hopelessly stuck in it, Blood and Lace delivers that strange, watchable mix. After nearly 2 decades off the screen, Veronica Lake made her big return in Flesh Feast, a Florida-shot horror oddity that also became her final film. Instead of slipping back into noir shadows, Lake plays a scientist conducting bizarre experiments with flesh-eating maggots, and it only gets stranger from there. Secret labs, political intrigue, and a climax so outrageous it feels like a grindhouse fever dream. What makes it worth revisiting isn't just the shock value, but the novelty of seeing Lake in such an unexpected role. Once the sultry star of classics like This Gun for Hire and The Blue Dahlia, here she's sweaty, frantic, and knee-deep in pure exploitation mayhem. Flesh Feast is cheap, rough, and more than a little absurd. But it's also the kind of movie you throw on just to marvel that it even exists. It may not be a fitting farewell, but as a slice of cult movie madness and Veronica Lake's unexpected curtain call, it's hard to resist. Watching a Golden Age star headline a story about killer maggots and conspiracy plots is so wildly out of step with her old Hollywood image that it turns into its own spectacle. Beryl Reid and Flora Robson star as 2 reclusive sisters living in the English countryside with a dangerous family secret locked away beneath their floorboards. When soldiers stationed nearby start turning up dead, the trail eventually leads back to their crumbling home, and to the beast they've been keeping hidden for years. The movie leans heavily on the uneasy chemistry between the 2 leads, as their prim, proper routines gradually give way to paranoia and guilt. Reid plays it fussy and defensive, while Robson simmers with quiet dread, and together they carry a film that's more strange than scary. The Beast in the Cellar is slow, talky, and undeniably odd, but it's also the kind of offbeat detour that shows how older stars were being plugged into horror stories just as the genre was shifting into rougher territory. It's part drawing room drama, part creature feature, and completely unlike anything else from the era, which is exactly what makes it a great late-night watch. Bette Davis goes full supervillain in Madam Sin, a made-for-TV spy thriller that feels like a Bond movie put through a Saturday matinee blender. It premiered on ABC's Movie of the Week in January 1972 and was originally meant to launch a full series, but that obviously didn't happen. Davis plays the title role, running a secret island fortress in the Scottish Highlands. She plots world domination with the help of brainwashing machines and a personal army of mod henchmen. Robert Wagner shows up as an ex-CIA agent dragged into her plans, mostly to look confused, while Davis stomps around in capes and sunglasses, threatening everyone in sight. And while more of a thriller than exploitation horror, the whole thing plays like a cartoon, and that's what makes it so entertaining. Davis leans into every over-the-top moment with theatrical precision, giving a performance that somehow manages to be both campy and commanding. If you've ever wanted to see Bette Davis as a high-tech villain mastermind, orchestrating mind control plots from a futuristic lair, this is your chance. By the early 1990s, the era of serious Psycho-Biddy horror had mostly passed, but that didn't stop the Boneyard from cranking the whole thing up to 11. This straight-to-video monster movie, released in 1991, and stars Phyllis Diller as a morgue worker who doesn't stay human for long. Deborah Rose plays a reclusive clairvoyant pulled into a murder investigation at a county morgue, where the corpses in question aren't exactly resting in peace. As the night unfolds, it's revealed that the bodies are actually ancient ghouls, and once they wake up, everything turns into a siege movie with rotting skin and glowing eyes. Phyllis Diller plays the night attendant, Miss Poopenplatz, who eventually becomes the movie's most memorable monster. The transformation is pure rubber suit chaos, a low-budget detective story that quickly mutates into a full-blown creature feature. complete with exploding corpses, demon-possessed poodles, and a morgue full of slime and screaming. Once it goes off the rail, it's loud, messy, and completely ridiculous. The kind of movie where you'll keep watching just to see what insane thing happens next.